Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
We are good.
Kabisa.
Okay.
Yes.
So last time we were in our last class, tulifika wapi?
Tulifanya maswali.
Tuliwacha swali, which year, please?
2020.
2020.
2020. So I
Yes.
think we had that question for, it was May or November 2020?
It was November 2020.
November.
Yes.
Yes.
Question 4.
So looking at our question for this November 2020, question number 4. Did you try to handle that question?
Yes.
Any difficulty on the question? Ama yote ilikuwa rahisi. Actually, I'd interpreted the question, right? So I looked at that question. So maybe let's just go through it quickly. Let's just go through it quickly and see what you're supposed to do. So I want us to go through that question. November 2020. But right now, I know this, if you've tried to handle or tackle questions for capital allowance, I know right now you are seeing them to be very simple, right? If you had the concept that you had the other time, right now, I know it is very simple on our side. So for 2020, again, I want us to use our current rates. So this was a question number 4, right?
Yes.
Question number 4. So that is our question. Question number 4. Going through that question, and let us see what you are told to do. I want to pick that question, November 2020. So let's go through that question, all of us. So question number 4, this is what you are told, specifically part C. This is what we are told, that Mafuta PLC commenced a manufacturing operation on 1st October 2019, having incurred the following expenditure. In that case, I think we had looked at this question, right? Sitko, shall summarize that question?
Yes.
So let's just do it quickly and see what if you did was correct. So first thing first, I need to start with our ID. Investment deductions. I need to start with our ID. And how will you work our ID? For our ID, we had already identified the items for ID. So we are going to start with that. Note number 1, we are told that factory building include an office, 280, showroom for 20, go down 800, and a retail shop 300. The concept to do with the 10% test. So first looking at our working number 1, we need to work out the 10% test. And how will we work out our 10% test? We are going to look at the cost of the factory building. Cost of the factory building, my good students, you are given a figure of how much? The total cost?
800.
What was the total cost given?
12.8.
12.8.
12.8, yes.
12.8. So the 12.8, it included these items. Number one, in note number one, talk about non-qualifying items. Talk about non-qualifying items. Talk about non-qualifying items. It included the following. For non-qualifying items, we had the following. Number one, in this case, to consider,
800.
we had an office, right? Office, you're given a figure of how much, my good students? 280, right? We are also given, in addition to that, I was given a showroom of 420,000. Showroom, I'm given 420,000. We are also given what? We are also given here, I'm given the aspect to do with what? Retail shop. Retail shop. For retail shop, I'm given a figure of how much? For retail shop, you can clearly see I was given a figure of 300,000. So what is our total cost if we sum them up? Total cost non-qualifying. So how much are we getting? Total cost? If we sum this up to 80 plus 420 plus 300, is giving us how much?
1,800,000.
1,800,000. 1.8.
Yes.
1,800,000, right?
Yes.
So what is the percentage of this to our total cost? Is it really 1.8 Quelly? It's not 1.8.
When you put go down,
Not
down,
really, not go down. Go down is not non-qualifying item. Go down is an IBD item. All I need is the cost of these three. Because remember,
1 million.
we said non-qualifying items, I'll be having four main items. I'll be having showroom, I'll be having retail shop, I'll be having the aspect of office block and caretaker's dwelling place. Only four items. We are given here, go down. Go down, yes, it was included the cost of the factory building, but this is an IBD item. I'm going to show you how we are going to treat that one. As of now, I want the total cost of whatever that I've written here. 280 for 20 and 300.
1 million.
That should give us
1 million.
1 million.
1 million.
Okay. So
Yeah.
having our 1 million, what is the percentage to our total cost? 1 million we divide by 12.8. That should give us what percentage?
$128,000.
One? The
It is
percentage.
128,000.
I need the percentage. 1 million divided by 12.8 times 100. That should give us what percentage?
7.8.
Ah, okay.
7.8%.
Yes.
Meaning that 7.8% is less than what? Than the 10%. So if it is less than the 10%, I'm not going to deduct that cost there. So that as at the end of the day, the cost here I'll be having 12.8. But remember, we are told in that factory building, we had a cost for IBD. We had a cost for go down. Go down is an IBD item. So therefore, I'll have to deduct our go down. Go down cost, I was given how much?
800,000.
800.
So I need to deduct my 800,000 here because this is the go down amount, so that the qualifying cost for the factory building, I'll be talking of 12 million. So that will be our qualifying cost for the factory building. Nani alinyoroshwa?
Mimi nilinyoroshwa.
Wewe ulinyoroshwa?
Mimi.
Mary pia ulinyoroshwa?
Mm.
George, ulinyoroshwa?
Haiwezekani.
Huh?
Haiwezekani.
So you should be very
Unatudanganya,
keen, right?
George.
And that's why I insisted that the cost for non-qualifying items are only for showroom, retail shop, office block, caretaker's dwelling place. Anything that you're given out of the four, that is not amongst the non-qualifying item. Meaning that in this case, you're given go down. Go down is an IBD item. We have deducted it from the factory building cost because it is an IBD item. And if it is an IBD item, that means that it will not qualify for ID. And that's the main reason of us removing it there. That's the main reason of us removing it there. So ideally, that is what you're supposed to do. That is what you're supposed to do. That is what you're supposed to do to determine the qualifying cost of the factory building. So after we have determined the qualifying cost of the factory building, the other things will just flow. So I'm having 12 million. So I want to erase here. Kindly mark that one, 12 million. So allow me to erase here if you're done. So now coming up with our ID, So we want to prepare our ID. We know very well the format. I should be talking of the nature of the asset here. Nature of the asset. I should be talking about the qualifying costs. We should be talking about the balance. Talk about balance breakdown if I'm having it. I should be talking about the aspect to do with ID. And year one, we know very well this is 50%. I should be talking about our balance carried down. We should be talking about our balance carried down. Should be talking about our balance carried down there. So we are starting with our factory building. So factory building qualifying cost we've seen is 12 million. We didn't have balance brought down, so ID in that case they should be having 6 million. So therefore my balance carried down, I should be talking of what? 6 million. So that's our first case for these items. Now continuing with that, this is what you are told. This is what you are told. This is what you are told in the other part. Note number 2, processing machinery was imported and includes import duty and VAT of 400 and 160 respectively, which were waived by the government. So talk about our processing machinery here. Talk about our processing machinery. Talk about our processing machinery here. Looking at our processing machinery, yes, I was given a cost there, 4.2. The cost of processing machinery, I was given a figure of 4.2. But on that 4.2, my good student, the examiner is telling us that it included VAT of how much? 400,000. So I need to deduct that automatically. It also included the 160, which was waived. All these were waived. So that as at the end of the day, what will be our qualifying cost? 4.2 minus 400,000 minus 160, that should give us a figure of how much? Yeah, that should give us a figure of how much?
$36.40.
How much?
$36.40.
3,640,000.
3,640,000. I want you to listen here very carefully, and I think I also mentioned that on earlier on. If this import duty was not waived, we could have just leave it like that, meaning that the only component that I will have deducted, either waived or not, it will have been only the component of VAT. I repeat that statement again. You are saying that in the event that, assuming that this import duty was not waived, the only component that I could have deducted here, it is the only component of VAT, meaning that I should have been talking of 4.2 minus 400,000. And when you are given this statement that the cost of the processing machinery was excluded, or rather had excluded the import duty at this amount. If the cost of this machinery is exclusive of the import duty, we need to add it back. We need to add it back. We need to add it. Assuming that in this case, I was given 4.2, the cost of processing machinery. And you are told that this cost excluded the import duty cost. For me to determine my qualifying cost, I could have taken the 4.2, I add 160. So these are various scenarios that you can be given. So you need to be very keen with what you are given. So in our case here, I'm going to take the qualifying cost of the processing machinery to be 3,640,000, which in this case, 50% of that should give us how much? 50% of that should give us 1820.
1820.
Yes,
1820.
1820.
So talk of our carry down, I should just be talking of 3640 minus 1820 to give us the same figure of 1820.
Yes.
To give us the same figure of 1820. To give us the same figure of 1,820,000. Okay. Continue the additional information. You're told that the borehole was sunk using money borrowed from a bank amounting to 1 million, which includes interest in a bank loan, 180. So in such an event, it was inclusive of interest, meaning that they have done it correctly. So I'm going to look at our borehole. Borehole in that case, how much were we given? 1,240,000, right? So for borehole, I'm just going to take the whole figure because the remaining amount could have been an installation. But suppose you are told that this interest was not included. If this interest was not included, what you're supposed to do, I was supposed to add that interest back to get the total cost of that item. But because it was included, that's why I'll not effect it there. So that in this case, we should be talking of our balance, or rather our ID 50%, that should give us how much? $620.
Yep.
Yeah?
620.
20 balance carried down again, I should be talking of 620,000. Correct?
Correct.
So after we have talked of that, after we've seen that one, we are told in note number, so looking at note number 4, that is saloon car. Note number 5, the company constructed a canopy at the entrance of the factory building at a cost of 570, which was completed and utilized from 1st November 2019. So canopy at this point normally tend to regard it as these are form of informal buildings. So therefore, in such an event, if I could have been given a permanent or a statement talking more of a canopy, I could have added it in the cost of the factory building. But ideally, canopy, we mentioned that these are form of informal structures for tax purposes. They are always taken as form of informal structures. So therefore, in this event, that one will not affect us in the cost there. Then purchase a water pump at a cost of 90,000 and a generator 120. So you're talking of a water pump. We are talking of our water pump here. Water pump, in that case, I'm having a figure of, for water pump, I'm given a figure of 90,000. That should give us 45,000, and we have 45,000. So after we do have our water pump, the other figure given here, I'm given generator 120,000. So generator, I'm given a figure of 120,000 here. So we have 120,000. I have 60,000, so that we have 60,000. So we are done with our additional information. Come in our notes there above. Factory building, we've dealt with it. Processing machinery, we've seen it. We've seen our processing machinery. Then I'm having a figure of billboard, that is a wear and tear borehole. We've seen it. I'm given staff canteen. That is, of course, IBD, sports pavilion, IBD, computers, computer software. I'm having warehouse weighing machines. So we have weighing machines. We have weighing machines. Weighing machines. I'm giving a figure for much for weighing machines. 28,000, right?
Yes.
To give us 14,000, we have 14,000. I'm given the other component.
Mwalimu, just a question.
Yes, please.
Warehouse, is it considered to be part of a factory building?
Not really. Warehouse, remember we mentioned, George, this is an
Yes.
IBD item.
Correct.
IBD item, warehouse / go downs, these are IBD items. They are not under IB. Okay?
So, yeah.
Okay. So we've talked of our weighing machines. I'm also having workshop. I'm given workshop machinery. So talk of workshop machinery. For workshop machinery, I'm given a figure of 464,000. So therefore, we should be talking of that should give us 232 to give us a balance carried down of 232,000. Correct?
Yes.
So in that case, I'm not seeing any other item for idea. So therefore, we can now determine our total cost. And by the way, it's always advisable for you to increase your chances of accuracy. Always tend to start with additional information. Because if you start with additional information, you'll be in a very good position to identify so many items probably that will have left out. So that's why it's always advisable for us to start with additional information. So therefore, we can now determine our total cost, or rather our total ID for that period. What will be our total ID? Determining our total ID, how much will we be having?
8791.
87?
91.
87, 8,781,000. So that should be our ID. That should be our ID. So after done with our ID, considering our IBD, remember IBD, we mentioned this is Mr. Date. Talk about IBD. IBD, remember we mentioned that IBD is Mr. Date. So what are we given here? What are we given for IBD? What are we given for IBD? For IBD, this is what we are told. Item number 1, we can start with what we identified in note 1, the go down. That is an item number 1. So talk of nature of the building here. Nature of the building. Nature of the building. Talk about qualifying costs. Talk about balance carried down. Talk about ID here. So talk about not carried down, but talk about brought down. Balance brought down. Talk about IBD. This is, of course, at the rate of 10% currently, regardless of commercial or industrial. Talk about our balance carried down. So we start with what we identified here, go down. Go down, in that case, I was given a figure for much. For go down, I was given a figure of 800,000.
800K.
10%, that should give us 80,000. And in that case, are you given the time duration when you started using that? They started operation on 1st October, right?
Yes.
They started the operation on 1st October, and the financial year was ending which month?
December.
1st
Yes.
December.
31st December.
It was
31st
ending
December.
on 31st December. So if we started the operation on a 1st October, that means that if I was to provide IBD for this item, I'm going to talk of, yes, 10% of that 800,000, but I'm going to consider the time period. So October, November, December. How many months? 3/12. So that's why I
Three
mentioned
months
IBD
over
is
12.
very, very key. You should be very keen with the date. You should be very keen with the date that you are given. So here, how much will you be talking about?
20K.
20.
Yeah.
20,000. So therefore, my balance carried down, talk about 720,000. Continue identifying another item.
Teacher,
Note 2. Yes.
teacher,
Yes, please.
it's not 720,000. It's 700 and
Is?
wait. The difference,
IBD
teacher,
down.
the difference is not 720.
780.
780.
780.
Oh, yeah, this is the carry down, right?
Yes.
Yes.
780, correct. The carry down. So identifying another item for IBD, clearly here we can see what did you have? A Marvin processing, no. 3 borehole saloon car. In that case, I was given note 6, purchased a water pump. So you don't have any other item on that. So come and identify what you're given there. I'm having the factory processing, billboard, borehole. I'm having staff canteen. Staff canteen, you're given a figure for much.
350,000.
350,000, correct?
Yes.
The same concept, 10% times 350 by 3/12. How much are we getting?
750.
8?
750.
8,750.
Yes.
So that our balance carry down, we should be having how much? Balance carry down should give us a figure of how much?
341,250.
341,250.
341,000, 350.
Yes.
350 or 250?
250.
250, correct? Then we identify
250.
another item here. What are we given? Sports pavilion. Sports pavilion, I was given a cost of how much? 470,000.
470,000.
Same concept. 10% times 470,000 times 3/12.
11,750.
How much?
11,750.
11,750.
11,750. Balance carried down, that should give us how much?
458,250.
58. Yes.
458?
250.
250.
The other item here, after sports pavilion, tuko na nini jameni?
Warehouse.
Warehouse, right?
Yes.
Warehouse, 680. The same procedure, 10% times 680. Very good. We divide times 312. Give us how much?
17,000.
17,000. Balance carried down should give us how much?
Yeah.
663,000.
How much?
663,000.
63,000.
663.
Yes.
Okay, so the moment you do have that case, the next thing to do tafanya nini jameni?
Mwalimu, billboard ina follow wapi?
Billboard WTA class 4.
That's 4.
So determine that case. What will you be having?
57,500.
How much?
57,500.
57,500.
Yes.
57,500. We are good up to that point, all of us?
Yes.
So the moment you are done with that, the next bit, what are we going to do? We need to prepare our WTA, wear and tear allowance schedule. Wear and tear allowance schedule. So looking at our wear and tear allowance schedule, what are we going to consider? Talk about class 1. Talk about class 2. By the way, right now, I'm going to give you a shortcut also for WTA. You can use category A and category B. Class 4. I'm going to give you a shortcut for WTA. With the new current rates, we can be talking of category, whereby so long, and you can only use this shortcut, so long as you know the items for class 1, class 2, class 3, and class 4. If you are able to identify these items, that is when you are allowed now to use category A and category B, but so long as you understand the items that will fall under class 1, class 2, or class 3, and also class 4. If you'll be able to understand that, you can use category A and category B, whereby class 1 to class 3, this one are category A. These one are category A. These one are category A. Class 4, this one is category B. Category B. But you can only use this shortcut whereby you are going to classify all the assets that you've identified in either class 1, class 2, or class 3 as one. You put them under the same category. The same case, you identify the items for class 4, you put them under category B. But kindly use this shortcut if you are able to identify. And the beauty part is Mwalimu gave you the characteristics of the items under each of these class. So that one will be very easy for us to understand. But for now, and more so for these coming exams, you are allowed to use categories, category A and category B. You are allowed to do that. You are allowed to do that. So that instead of us having class 1, class 2, class 3, and class 4 separate, you can just have only 2, category A and category B. Category A will consist of class 1, class 2, and class 3. Whereas category B will consist of the special classes and class 4 items. So that's a shortcut that you can use this semester. And that's the beauty part with this bit.
So teacher, basically
Yes,
you're
please.
saying everything 25% on one side, everything 10% on another side.
Exactly. So class 1, class 2, class 3, all these are at 25%. Whereas category B, it is at 10%.
Okay.
So you can either use the normal WTA schedule, or you can use the aspect of category A and category B. So that is what you can, that's the trick that Mwalimu is giving you, which I know will simplify our work very, very well. So to do that, working out this part, in this case, we have talk of our class 1, class 2, class 3, and class 4. We had already identified these items. And as I've said, always advisable, start with additional information. If you start with additional information, you'll be in a very good position of working out these items. So we are starting with additional information. Note number 1, we don't have an item for that. We don't have an item for WTA. Note 2, we don't have an item for WTA. Note 3, we don't have an item for WTA. But note 4, I'm having an item for WTA, which in this case, we had a saloon car. So first of all, tuangalie pale juu, are we given saloon car? But this was a disposal, right? Kule juu, are we given saloon car?
Yes.
You are given saloon car, right? So you should know that one. Then note 5, I'm having a canopy, purchased a water pump. So in addition information, you don't have items for WTA except for that disposal of saloon car. So come to our statement. On top there, I'm having factory, I'm having billboard. So in this case, we are going to start with written down value at start. We don't have any. We don't have any. We don't have any. We don't have any. This is 25% of course, 25% of course, 25% of course, and 10%. So additions during the period. Talk of our additions during the period. Looking at our additions during the period, this is what we have. Looking at our additions during the period, this is what we have. Looking at our additions during the period, we have billboard, which we've identified. Billboard, billboard. For billboard, this is under category B, which in this case, or rather class 4, which in this case, I'm going to have it as how much? For billboard, in this case, you are given a total of how much? Is it 84,000?
Yes.
I'm having 84,000. Talk about the aspect to do with, I'm having staff, sports pavilion, I'm having computers. Computers, I'm having it as class 2, and I'm giving a figure for much for computers. Is it on 40,000?
Yes, it is 140,000.
Yes.
Talk about computer software. Remember, computer software using the current rates to the same computer software will fall under which class?
Class,
Class 2,
Class-
correct? So computer software using the current rates, computer software will fall under class 2. So computer software I'm given how much? 60,000, right? Talk about
Yes.
lorries. Alafu examiner akakuwa very specific. Akakwambia 3 tons and above. So if it is 3 tons or rather 2 tons and above, where are we going to put it?
class 1.
Class 1, correct? 860,000. Saloon car. Saloon car. We purchased it at how much?
2,400,000.
2.4, meaning that it is within the restricted value, right?
Yes.
Because
Yes.
the restricted value is 3 million. Then we have warehouse, we've looked at it. Weighing machines, I'm having fax machine. Fax machine, we are going to place it where? Class 2, right? Fax machine, I'm given 13,000. Motorbike. Motorbike, which class?
Class 3.
Class 3. So motorbike, I'm given 68,000. We do have trailer, right?
Yes.
We do have trailer. Trailer, in that case, that is of course class 4, 120,000. And in that case, we don't have any other item. So talk about our disposals here. For disposals, I can only see we had saloon car, we disposed saloon car. And if we didn't restrict it on purchase, that means we'll also not restrict it on disposal. So therefore, saloon car disposal amount, or what we dispose of with the saloon car, in that case, note number 4, I'm given 2.1. 2.1, I'm given 2.1. I'm given 2.1. So in that case, I'm given 2.1. So therefore, we should be talking of our qualifying cost. We should be talking of our qualifying cost here. So what will be our qualifying cost? For class 1, it's 60, right?
Yes.
Class 2, that should give us how much? 213. What about class 3? How much will you be having under class 3? Yes, how much? 2.4 plus 68 minus 2.1. How much are we getting? How much are we getting? Yeah?
368.
How much?
368,000.
368.
1,000.
This other one I'm getting how much? 204.
204,000.
So can you now determine our WTA? We can now determine our WTA. We can now determine our WTA. Can now determine our WTA. We can now determine our WTA. That will give us how much?
Lemu, you have gone dark.
Yeah, just a moment. Let me change my battery. Okay, so you're getting how much? The first one, class 1, WTA?
215. 860
215.
minus 215.
Class 2,
215.
WTA?
53.23. Oh, that is
Yeah.
53,250.
The Apple Card
3,000?
is
250.
What about class 3?
92,000.
Correct.
9,000. And this one, 2,400, right?
Yeah.
So having that case, we can now determine our written down value as at 31st December. Written down value as at 31st December.
645,000.
Teacher,
Yeah.
hapo kwa 2,400, what's happening?
Ni ngapi hapa?
10%.
51.
10%.
This is 10%.
10%.
10% of 204 ni ngapi?
Yeah, it's correct. 2,400.
George, remember this is class 4. We are looking at 10%.
Sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So this should give us how much here, like our written down value? Plus 1?
645,000.
645.
645,000.
645. Talk about class 2.
Just a second.
159,750.
How much?
750.
159,750.
159,750. What about the last one, class 3?
276.
276,000. 276,000.
276.
Yes.
And the last one?
$183,600.
183?
600.
600. Same figures, all of us?
Yes.
Yes.
So determine, give me the total WTA if you add the 4, and then you do your summary. Do that summary and tell me what you're getting. Do your summary and tell me what you're getting. Do your summary and tell me what you are getting.